Well, hello to you. This is Tash Mitch and Jane Alexander from IE. And we've been creating these healing spaces to just for you to drop in and to come into alignment with what feels true for you in this moment, and using what's being present for us as a gateway to do that, basically. And today, what are we doing today, Jane?
Well, today we've been feeling into sovereignty, haven't we? And into like the place of sovereignty that completely honors us as an individual being, but also simultaneously honors the collective, or the one that we all are. And I think we just sort of were feeling that around about now was quite a good time for this practice, for this meditation.
Yeah,
we're finding ourselves in interesting and choppy waters.
Yeah, I mean, basically we was discussing earlier on how there's one part of what's going on at the moment that feels that things are shifting and changing, and there's a smooth rhythm to it, and then there's also a foundational level of it that feels really rocky and shaky. Because of the unknown aspect and not really knowing where everything is going to end up or what it's going to look like. And also on the back of that is maybe various degrees of doubt as to whether, you, I, we have the capacity to come through this whole, something like that. So yeah.
And even as you're speaking then, I was just sort of seeing that, that it's that thing, isn't it, that our minds, the process that we're in here, the conclusion of all of this, upheaval that we're all living through, that it's not available to us on the level of mind. And I was literally just feeling then as you're talking, I was like, oh yeah, if I just hang out with my soul, it's fine. And I think, it's like, I should know this by now. I shouldn't try and ask my mind to understand these bigger, deeper movements in life.
Yes. Yeah.
Particularly when it's something as profoundly transformational as the time we're in at the moment, because I think there's just too many fragments. There's too many aspects, kind of on the surface level. We can't possibly understand them all, or feel the truth or otherwise in them. It's not. I don't think that's actually doable for us.
Yeah, it's what you call the unknown, isn't it? And it's kind of really interesting when we speak about the unknown from that kind of cliche area of like, oh yes, we're entering the unknown. It feels, it can feel like exciting journey ahead, but like literally the reality of it is like your ego does not know what to do with any of that, so then you're literally having to continuously come to that place of opening and calming yourself, over and over again. Open, calm, open, calm, just kind of like that process. And sometimes it's a moment to moment process. So yeah, shall we just get into it? See where?
Let's go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it might be with you. I think you've got the start of it.
Okay, well, let's see what goes on. Yeah. So just coming into breath and coming into breathing from the diaphragm. Filling the lungs as we breathe in. Emptying the lungs as we breathe out. And just coming into awareness with your breath. Coming into awareness with how breath equates to life. And feeling a newfound appreciation for each breath, each inhale, and each exhale. And just knowing that your body knows what to do with breath. And as soon as we place our mind into the breathing aspect from a control point of view, everything has a way of going a little bit skewer because the body knows, the body understands. So there becomes a relationship with the mind and the body, where the mind trusts that the body knows. And then the body is able to do what it knows how to do inherently. And the mind then acts as an opening. It acts as a cheerleader. And it acts as a vibration, a vibratory force that allows the body to deepen into its own knowing.
Just allowing yourself to perceive your mind as a presence inside you. And just feeling its loving busyness in the head. Just honoring it as a processing center. Acknowledging its amazing ability to make sense. But also feeling into any tendrils of energy that are making their way from your mind and into your body. And just recognizing that your body doesn't welcome this presence. And just feeling how your mind has overstepped. Your mind has involved itself in your bodily processes. Your body doesn't need this help. And through love, giving permission for your mind to let go. Allowing the presence of deepest love to be in all the places in your body where your mind is holding on, where your mind is controlling. Just allowing deepest love.
And also just opening out to the difference between mind control and your flow of consciousness. And just holding those two very lightly in your awareness so you can feel the difference. The mind control element has a way of coming from a fear base. And so it's holding on really hard to a particular path, a particular road, a particular way. That may serve for a moment in time, but if it tries to become the norm, or the reality for always, it cannot serve. And so there needs to be flexibility and opening in the midst of that. And then feeling into consciousness flow, the flow of consciousness, which in essence is a divine's way of flowing through us and animating us. When we open to that, we open to the field of limitless potentials and limitless possibilities. We open up to the things that the mind could not conceive of in its wildest dreams. So understanding that the mind does have a part and plays a part, but it's a tool rather than a master.
And just allowing in this state of awareness a sensation of reconnecting with your purpose and your future. Maybe even having a sense of that future rushing towards you, to meet you, to hold you. Just feeling how, as the mind has relaxed, the path ahead becomes present. And it may be that you felt disconnected from this path for the longest time. Or it may be that you already know it so well. Either way, in this moment, allow a deeper union with your path. And just feeling how the future is already there. You don't have to build it. You just have to step into it. So just allowing reunion with your path, with your blueprint, with your presence. And understanding in this moment how your presence is simultaneously your birth, your full life, and your death. And feeling how your divinity encapsulates and extends beyond that presence.
And just noticing when you're able to do that in this moment, to feel your divinity extending beyond the finite presence. That really what you're connecting to is that infinite aspect of who you are. And it's from this place that you can access new information, new codes, new keys. The word new is only being used to represent the newness to your finite self. Because in essence, there's nothing new. There's just a remembrance of what is. But it's in this space that you're able to access the infinite aspects of yourself. And just noticing that when you are accessing that infinite aspect of yourself, that things just open out and you're shown that is eager to communicate with you. It's from here that you get visions of maybe a new way of doing something or a different way of doing something. It's from here that you actually bring in healing codes and keys that deepen the awareness of the body itself. It's from here that we speak of miracles being created. And in this case, a miracle is only something that the finite self had no awareness of and didn't think was possible. And the infinite self is now reminding it that the possibility does exist. And in that reminding, a switch occurs, a switch is turned on, and something that was so far out of the realm of mind control is now brought into being.
And in this moment, you have access to the release of limitation. And just giving permission for your body to do what it does best, which is serve the infinite. Just acknowledging and allowing limitation to dissolve, to be lifted from you. Recognizing in this moment that you were born to mirror the divine, not to mirror the suffering of the world. You were born to mirror the divine. You were born to mirror the divine.
Just taking a moment to notice how mirroring the divine creates a level of alignment on the inside of your very being. Just noticing how everything switches on and is activated. Noticing how remembrance becomes radiance. And divinity is pulsating at your core and emanating through every single cell of your body. Say hello to yourself as a sovereign being.
From this place, saying hello to the earth as a sovereign being. Feeling how her transformation is your transformation. Feeling how your transformation is hers in every single aspect of her.
So this is a meditation that you can come back to time and time again if you so need to. It's a remembrance of who you really are. You were given everything that you need, basically. It's kind of like self-contained. You came with everything that you need. And so really and truly, this earth walk is about unpacking that, and then bringing that to expression, bringing that to awareness and consciousness in your walk, and bringing that to your, I would say, like your earth experience,
I always think of it as like making peace with what we are, and that unfolding is the peace, isn't it? That unfolding, the gift that we are. Yeah. And it just feels to me like it's, for me personally, that's so where I'm keeping my focus at the minute. That with that unfolding.
Yeah. Yes. It's very easy to get distracted with other things.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So actually this homecoming is such an amazing thing, and is such an amazing tool, because you realize in this homecoming that actually you have the ability to be the cause in every moment, and also to notice the effect in every moment. It's only from this level of sovereignty. And I can say for myself, it took me a while to appreciate the fact that we were packed with everything that we need. And the whole point of being here was to unpack what we were given. It's like we get so distracted with everything else that, and also we try and look at everybody else's, what they've been packed with. Oh, you've got that, I haven't got that. Oh, you've got this, oh, I haven't got this. Do you know what I mean? And it's kind of like completely distracts. We leave our suitcase zipped up and locked, because we're so concerned with what they've got that we haven't got. So it's really that homecoming and the appreciation. I can say now, and it's still in discovery, there's so much more appreciation for that process of unpacking the beauty of what I've been handed and given.
Otherwise you can sort of end up sort of almost paradoxically running away from yourself. So you can be sort of running away from your own divinity, which is what you're trying to rest in. If you don't kind of go, okay, it's all here. It might not make any sense to me, and I might not like it, but it's here.
Yeah.
And if I don't like it, then that's my journey.
Yeah. And then there's a point of like, well, what's not to like, I mean, basically the whole point of unpacking is to really understand, to feel, to embrace, to accept, to hold, and to be with. So there's elements in that where, okay, so maybe you have a remembrance of yourself in a past time and space where things weren't so good for you, you weren't such a nice person, and all of this kind of stuff, and I know that there's flashes that can come like that, but even that, when you come to the awareness and the understanding that divinity has no judgment, and that the divinity loves it all, then there's a resting place for you in that. And there's also a quest to reset and to come into alignment with something different or something other than what was. But you can't do it from the outside in, it has to be from the inside out. And the only way that happens is if you connect with the non-judgment aspect of the divine and allow that then to be the thing that starts to unfold everything from within you.
But I think it's like a sort of, I had a little realization this week. I was looking back, at the past, and I was thinking, well, yeah, because those things arose because I didn't know I was held at that time. And I think, you know, when we don't feel held, then we, you know, we react, and we act from reaction. And I think that, you know, I think that can, knowing that we have a history of reaction, because, you know, hey, we all do, you know, I think that can sort of be, you know, we can then be reacting to the fact that we've reacted, and we can get caught in these kind of crazy loops. And that actually there's a, you know, if you know, if you can go, well, if you can know that, well, of course I did that, because, you know, I was, as the child who's not feeling held by the parent, you know, and it's like, and so I acted out, you know, and I think that, you know, particularly if there was a time in your life when you didn't know that it was possible to cultivate a sense of divine holding, you didn't know that, you know, of course we've got parts of ourselves or our stories that we're struggling with, but I feel like you can recognize that there can be complete and instantaneous forgiveness.
Yes.
You know, it's like, now we know that we're held, and we forget it sometimes. You know, we've got the only tool we need, really, which is whatever works for us to make us feel held. You know, it's like, and that's where the responsibility comes in, I think, you know.
Yeah.
And really, no, sorry, it's my fault. No, I was just going to say, it can really help. It can really help with the unfolding, because I think sometimes we can be scared to unfold because we are, you know, worried about what we've left behind. You know, whereas as soon as you bring in that aspect of knowing that you're divinely held, you know, it's then so much easier to allow the unpacking, the unfolding.
Yes. Yeah. And there's a discovery, that there's a real discovery of what it means to be divinely held, because the words have meaning to some people and maybe doesn't have the same meaning to other people. But it in my experience, it's like a relationship and a weaving that gets built over a period of time. And the thing about this, in Kundalini yoga, it says basically, if you take one step towards the divine, or if you take one step, towards divinity, divinity takes 1,000 steps towards you. And this is the essence of it, right? It's like, as soon as you are willing, you notice how everything around you was always willing, you know. And so then it becomes a bit of just giving it a chance. That's kind of like, you might just start off with that, just give it a chance, you know what I mean?
Totally.
And then just starting to notice that you're being held more and more. And the give it a chance bit is an interesting one, right? Because as soon as we have judgment, if we have a judgment about where it is that we want to go, and we're sort of pointing in this particular straight line, and this is how it's supposed to look, and this is how it's supposed to be, then it actually creates a bit of an issue, because you might not have created enough of a relationship with your field for it to appear that way, you know? So then there's kind of like, either some fast weaving needs to be done automatically in your field and your relationship with your own energy for that to happen in that way, or you need to be prepared for it to look very different to how it might have looked in your mind, and then start to open it out that way. So there is a sense of giving it a chance, and there's a lot of layers of what that means, to give it a chance, to really open out. Oh, so it doesn't look like that. Oh, so this looks like it's falling down. Oh, this looks like it's not the right thing to do. Oh, I'm really embarrassed right now. You know, all of these layers, give it a chance, you know. Yeah. Well, my love, does this feel complete?
Yeah, I think we're there, aren't we?
So thank you so much for being here and being with us. We're continuing with these weekly meditation, space holding. We also have a Reiki course that we've actually developed together, Jane and I. And that will be made available, so you'll have access to that. And that is just us weaving in the same way that we've been weaving these healing sessions together. It's lovingly made. It's very intimately made. It's an intimate conversation, and it brings you into the mechanics. Let's say, I say mechanics because it's not mechanical in any way whatsoever. But that's my language. I like the language of mechanics. But yeah, like basically just the ways that we've come to a relationship with the healing mechanisms within ourselves, and how Reiki really was a catalyst for that. And since then, the both of us have developed our own very solid and very individual paths, but it's giving homage and honoring the path that came before to lead us to where we are now. And so we would really love to share that journey with you. So that will be made available very, very soon. Stay tuned for that. And we'll see you next week. So much love.
Loads of love. Take care.